Okay. All right. Am I in center? Am I in focus? Am I a mess? All yes. All right, welcome back everybody to Peaches 2.0. I know it's been a while. My sister got married, so give me a little bit of grace. We are back better than ever, and today we are reviewing What Lies Beyond the Veil. How I decided, because if you watched my last video, you know I had no idea what I was going to review. So actually I was browsing Barnes & Noble like all us avid readers do, and I found, which, see right there, that is a hard copy of Fourth Wing. I found it. So I was browsing Barnes & Noble, found a hard copy of Fourth Wing, which and there was this table where it was like, you know, are you feeling empty now that you've finished Fourth Wing? And I was like, yes. And What Lies Beyond the Veil happened to be one of the books on the table. And like, I've read that book. I loved that book. Have other people read this book? So I decided I was going to review What Lies Beyond the Veil next. So without further ado, let's get into the Peaches 2.0 checklist. All right, so number 1 on their checklist, genre. It's a shocker to all of you, but we've got another fantasy romance novel for you all. It'll pretty much be the majority of what I review on this channel. It's just what I love to read. Deal with it. Number 2 on the checklist, spice level. So this book, this series, this author, hot, 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 hot. Think like jalapeno hot, ghost pepper chili hot. Definitely 4 out of 5. It is hot. So keep that in mind. Number 3, plot summaries. What Lies Beyond the Veil? It's the first book in the Of Flesh and Bone series. It's written by actually Adelaide Forrest, but she's writing under the name Harper L. Wood. So if you've read any of Adelaide's, like, she writes a lot of mafia romances. So if you've read some of those, you've heard of her. It's the same person. She's just writing under a different name. This is her first kind of dipping her toe into the fantasy world. So it's the first book in the ongoing series. There are 3 out of the 4 books released. The 4th book was supposed to come out in October, and she actually just posted on her Instagram it's going to take her a little bit longer, just because she's, you know, there's more details needed just to really, you know, make sure it's a good book or good piece of the story, which as an avid fan of this series, I'm like, that works for me. So it's going to take a little bit longer. So something to keep in mind if you only read series that are complete. So this series, or this book, starts off with Estrella Barlow, our female main character. She is a harvester in a very small town called Mistfell. Mistfell happens to fall in Northrek, which is the human side of the world in this series, and it's split from Alfheimer, which is where all the fae and the magic creatures all live, and it's split by a veil, like literally a veil. So Estrella, she introduces us to this world. She explains a little bit about the new gods, the old gods, religion, not like religion in the traditional sense, but religion in their world tends to be very heavy theme, especially in the beginning. So she introduces us to all that, and she happens to be targeted by the lord of her village, who's decided that he's going to poison his wife and marry her. Yay. So she's given this choice. She can either agree to marry him, or the high priest has decided that she will be the one who's sacrificed to the veil to make it stronger and make sure it doesn't fall down. Again, wonderful choices for our girl. So she is basically like, screw you. You are a predator. I hate you. I choose death. And while they are in the process of the ceremony to sacrifice her, the veil completely shatters, and it is chaos. True chaos. So the veil, like I said, is kind of, it splits the human world from the fae world, and really all magic. So once the veil shatters, all the magic kind of comes rushing back into the human world. And as it comes rushing back in, if you're familiar with reading books about fae, you know there's always some sort of like fated soulmate known as mates. So everyone who's a mate to one of the fae in Alfheimer gets this mark, and it's almost like a tattoo down their arm, so they can't hide it. It immediately shows up. And unfortunately, on the human side, they are extremely prejudiced towards fae, and including anyone who's a mate to a fae. And the reason this is because if a fae finds their mate, they actually can increase their power immensely. So the soldiers within the human world called Misgard are charged with actually killing anybody who's a mate of a fae. So the veil shatters, right, stay with me, the veil shatters, all the magic comes flooding in, people have these marks show up on their arms, and so they're immediately targeted as people to kill by, it could be their brother, their family, their lover, whoever it is, right? And they're taught in the human world like duty above all else. So you're getting people who are just immediately kind of slaughtered, for lack of a better term. So once the veil shatters, these marks appear, and Estrella has a mark appear on her arm. She has to run. Like, if she wants to live, she's got to run. So her brother actually ends up being like, screw this, I'm going to, run with my sister. I'm going to be there for my sister. And they run. The other thing they are avoiding as they run is not only do they have to avoid the Misgard, but there's also this group of fae called the Wild Hunt who are charged with finding the mates and bringing them back to Alfheim, to the fae. So they're trying to avoid being killed by the Misgard. They're trying to avoid being captured by the Wild Hunt. It's just, again, wonderful choices for Estrella as she, embarks on this adventure. So she flees, she heads out with her brother. She actually runs into another fae marked guy. His name is Callum. And they end up forming this tentative alliance because, again, they've got to escape the Misgard, stay out of the way of the Wild Hunt, find a way to make it in this like crazy chaos that has happened since the veil was shattered. And they embark on an adventure, and we see what happens to Estrella as she tries to survive but also protect her heart as she goes on this adventure. So the other thing I'll say in the plot summary point is make sure you read in the beginning. Harper has a whole paragraph of kind of all the trigger warnings. It can be a little bit dark at times, so just make sure if you're somebody who's sensitive to reading things, make sure you read through there. Number 4, main characters. 4 out of 5 for me, guys, on main characters. I freaking love Estrella. She is the female main character. She's 21 years old. As I said, she's a harvester. She's grown up in poverty. She's extremely rebellious, extremely open-minded. She's extremely loyal. She's got a great, like, dark sense of humor, which I truly appreciated. So I really love Estrella. And then the other main character, our male main character, is Callum. So Callum is mysterious, he's dominant, he's loyal, extremely devoted to Estrella. He's also pretty jealous. I'd say in a nutshell, he's got all the right red flags that us book readers love to see in a male main character. So 4 out of 5 for sure. Number 5 on the checklist, supporting characters. This, I'm being generous, 3 out of 5, and that's generous. There are very little supporting characters in this book, and the ones that are there, you don't necessarily get a ton of their backstory or character development. It's very much a book about the main characters. A lot of it is them just, traveling and having conversations. You have her brother, like I mentioned, his name is Bran. You've got the Lord Byron. In a nutshell, he's a predator, gross. And then later on in the book, you get to meet some rebels. So if you're looking for a lovable band of characters and supporting characters, it's just not there in the first book. So generous 3 out of 5, which leads me into number 6, favorite part. So like the basic bitch that I am, I love a good meet cute. And specifically when Estrella and Callum meet, she ends up in a scuffle getting a hold of his dagger and holding it to his throat. So I think, again, that just kind of shows Estrella, she's got some spunk, she's feisty. So it's my favorite part of the book. And then number 7, my favorite line in the book is actually from Estrella, and it's just in this random part of the book, which she has so many zingers throughout that I just love and makes you love her. But this one in particular, she's just like, I am all out of fucking nice today. And I mean, can we put this on a coffee mug? Does somebody have it on a coffee mug already? Can I buy it? So that's my favorite line. But there's another one too she has, and she's like, there are far better ways to wake up a lady in the morning or something like that. So she's just constantly, you know, it's dark. She's in a shit situation, but she's just got a great sense of humor. All right, so that leads me into number 8, my overall thoughts. As you can tell, I love this book, but I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, and here's why. As I mentioned, a lot of the book is just the main characters kind of having conversations, and because of that, at times, it can be a little repetitive. I mean, I could read banter all day, but I know most people are not me. So there are times where it feels slightly repetitive and you think like, didn't they have this conversation already? Didn't they agree to disagree or whatever it was? So they kind of go back and it's not the exact same conversation, but it does feel a little repetitive at times. So that's why I kind of dinged it down 1, so 4 out of 5. And really looking forward to the 4th book because the 3rd book ends on such a cliffhanger. I'm just like, I really need the 4th book to come out. So really looking forward to that. All right, we did it. We did it. So make sure you like this video, subscribe to my channel, spread the word, right? We're a new channel, so let people know they can come join the Peaches 2.0 family. Leave a comment down below. If you've read this book, what was your favorite line? What was your favorite part? If you haven't read the book, go read it. Let me know your thoughts. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.